Network, the Sportscast edition here. It's got Brian and Craig. What's up, Craig?
Howdy, sir.
All right, guys, we've got episode 172. We forgot to change the header. That's all right. We'll change that here in a little bit. We got your top games of week 14. We got your picks for week 14 as well. We got your headlines. We got a couple of baseball trades, our pickups. We got your college football bowl games as well, and the report of the Washington Commanders and Dan Snyder. So all that coming up right after this, guys. All right, guys, welcome in. Welcome in. We got your Friday edition here of the Outspoken Sportscast. Week 14, Craig, we got some interesting games. I got on here the Jets and Bills. I think this one's pretty interesting. The divisional games. Um, the Jets are still trying to prove that they can stick around with the big boys. What's interesting with the Jets is they've had success with so many different quarterbacks this season. Started off with Flacco. You brought in your rook. You brought in your young gun, what's his name, Zach Wilson, and then now you're on Mike White, and they're still competitive in the division. And right now, if the season ended today, they would be in the playoffs. Um, every team in the division would be in the playoffs except the Patriots. And you got the Bills who have struggled a little bit as of late. They get the win last week by 10 points. I think it was by 10 points. They're not that powerhouse that we saw them open up the season with. So this one should be pretty good. The Jets defense is really good. And this one is in Buffalo, though. So
You don't know if it's going to have 30 feet of snow. But yeah, I think the Buffalo offense has struggled a little bit because of the UCL injury that he had, that Allen had. He hasn't made all the throws. The defense takes a hit with Von Miller going out with the ACL injury, so the pass rush takes a hit. Um, on paper, they should still win. Mike White is not Josh Allen. You go with the best player on the field, it should be Buffalo winning. But the Jets are one of those teams that's very Jekyll and Hyde, and the defense has played phenomenal this year. That rookie cornerback has played out of his
Sauce
mind.
Garner,
Yeah, he
beast.
has played out of his mind this year. Basically, he's locked down that side of the field. So
Year one.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, right out of the gate. So people when they made that draft pick, Jets fans were like, "We're using it on a cornerback? Are you kidding me?" And now they see why. They got that pick right on
Revis
the
Island
money.
2.0
Yeah,
out there.
basically, that's exactly what it's become. Is this guy just takes that whole side of the field? If you look at the numbers, he's locked down anybody he's covered all year long.
So that one should be a pretty good game. I believe it's at 12 o'clock. Next game, I thought that was going to be good is the Vikings and Lions. The Lions have won 5 of the last 6 games. They've been on a heater so far. They're playing their best football. This is in Detroit. It's a divisional game. Minnesota is that team that the record says they're good, and they played some good football. But I'm not a big believer that they're going to go in the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl. So they've got a lot. They've got this game to prove. This one, the Lions, can they continue to keep winning? Like I said, divisional. These two teams play each other hard. The Lions always play Green Bay hard, so it should be a pretty good game there as well.
Yeah, Lions should have beat them in Minnesota. They were leading the whole game, and that's one of those that if they don't make the playoffs, that it's going to come back to bite them because they've got again these one score games. The Lions seem to be on the wrong end of the one score games. The Seattle, they get in a shootout, they lose 40-38. They lose to the Minnesota on the last play of the game type deal. And they played better football and really if you look at their schedule the rest of the way outside of the Minnesota game, they really don't have a lot of tough games. The Jets, I guess you consider tough as well. But the Lions, after a rough start, are trying to make a playoff push here. With some help from because NFC East is going to beat up on itself now.
Yeah.
Washington's got to play the Eagles. The Eagles got to play the Giants twice. Cowboys got to play all those teams again. So somebody's going to be losing constantly in the East. So it gives them a chance to really make them some ground. I think that tie probably hurt them last week between Washington and the Giants. It probably hurt the chances because that's like a half a win basically
Yeah.
when you tie, and the Lions aren't going to have that. So the only loss they've had in the last 5 games is Buffalo, and they played them right down to the wire.
They almost won that one.
Yeah, they should have won that one. Really, they took it to overtime and end up losing in the overtime. Or last play of the game. So anyhow, they're playing really good football right now, and they're getting their rookie back, and that wide receiver from Alabama that burned everybody, that blew his ACL in the title game. They're getting him back, and if he's as good as he was in college, that's going to be a guy that goes down the field. So.
Yeah, it should be a pretty good game there. And then I got Miami going to going to LA to play the Chargers. This one might be good, might not be good. Now the Chargers depends on what team that shows up. I've really fell off that bandwagon this year. I mean, we had high hopes for this team, and it seems like they're going to finish in the middle of the mediocre pack of football. And you're probably looking at a coaching change at the end of the season with all the money they spent there. But Miami's got to bounce back. They've got dominated last week against a backup quarterback. If Tua did not look good, this is the first game you kind of looked at that he played all the way through, and you're like, he kind of seemed, and it's probably because the 49ers defense is just that good. But he's looking to bounce back this week, and this game could be a back and forth shootout between these two if Herbert, gets his gunsling mentality out of there, and Tua plays better. But this one looks to be like another decent game for this week.
Tua had a little bit of an ankle injury last week, so I'm not sure if that really affected him at all. It is the 49ers have a solid defense. I do believe that. But I mean, really, they were in it up until he threw a real bad pick six there at the end, and then it kind of got lopsided.
Snowballed.
Yeah, it did. It was a lot closer with 2 minutes left. They were still only down on 1 score. So, Miami's played better all year than we thought they would. Tua's played way better than we thought they would. That offense, he has got that thing rolling. And I think the only thing that saves San Diego from a coaching change is if you look back and give the guy a little bit of credit that he's had a ton of injuries this year. Keenan Allen hasn't played half the season. The offensive line's been banged up. Some of the running backs have been banged up. But talent-wise, you should have won more than that. Defensively, you should win more than that. Granted, you are in a tough division. We expected that division to be down, to the wire. Kansas City has exceeded expectations outside of what deal. So hopefully they give him another chance. But if they don't, then I can't. I mean, I can see both sides of it. I can see why they would go the different way and why they wouldn't.
This is his third year or second?
Yeah,
third.
I think it's his third. I'd have to look.
The last game I got that might be good, and the reason I put this on here, it's the Bucks at the 49ers. And last week, the Bucks looked terrible until the last 2 drives. Then Tom Brady looked like Tom Brady. This game right here is going to prove if the Bucks still have something, because I don't think they do. And I'm not willing to count Tom Brady out though in any game, but this to me is the game of the Bucks need to come in and they need to win and to say, hey guys, I know we look bad, but we're going to start turning things around here. Did the win last week turn things around for them? I'm not sure, but It's gonna be a tall task against this defense, and then you also got to look on the other side and go, we're starting the rookie against the Bucks defense, um, who hasn't been as great this year, but might be a tall task for the rookie in Purdy out there. But pretty interesting. I wonder how the 49ers feel about not, rescinding the claim on Baker Mayfield after what he did last night. But
That is
we
crazy.
shall see.
Yeah, I would really like to know what happened in Carolina that he burned that many bridges to where McCaffrey would go to ownership and go, you did what? Yeah, I'm not gonna play for you if you do that.
Yeah.
Wait, what? No, yeah, but you just played with him where we got you from. Like that was the same guy. He's like, yeah, I'm not. You know, um,
Right. And we
and you say that, and then game one, they interview guys that are on the field with the Rams, and there was wide receivers that are walking up going, "I'll run through a wall and play with that guy any day of the week.
it's
I'll play."
it's mind
You know,
blowing, right?
uh, you know, uh, they're looking over there at Deal, going, Matt Stafford, who? I don't even know that guy. Baker's my guy. Woo, yeah.
Woo, let's go.
Let's go. Let's play some more football with Baker. 2 days, dude. 2 days, and he goes and throws dime. That's the Baker Mayfield that you thought won the Heisman and
Right.
could play in Oklahoma and running around, crotch chopping people, telling that's the guy you saw. And I wonder if it wasn't just the ownership and the coaching in Carolina that kind of reined him in, because last night it just looked like he had fun.
You're
Like he
exactly
just went
right.
out there and let loose and didn't think about nothing and didn't have somebody with his thumb on him telling, now Baker, now I'm gonna need you to not act out, to not be crazy. I need you to stay within this and be a little puppet and come on here and don't show any emotion. He's running on the sideline, chest bumping coaches and running into coaches that don't have pads on, knocking them over.
He's
He had
he's headbutting
McVay.
helmets with his
Yeah,
head,
he
like
had
no helmet
McVay.
on. Just
McVay's on the sideline going, "Did you see that? Oh my God!" Like he didn't expect. Like McVay had no expectation to win that game last night, and when he goes down the field and throws a dime and puts it right over the shoulder in stride where only the receiver can get it, like where was that all year? That's the guy
yeah.
that you thought could take Carolina and unseed Tampa. And I mean, we talked about it today. Tampa Bay could go into the playoffs and have a host a playoff game at 8-9, and if Dallas doesn't beat them, then I can show you a path to where Tom Brady gets to play Geno Smith and Purdy to go to his 11th Super Bowl at 8-9. The
Yeah.
NFL has to do something about this deal to where they reseed 8 and 9 shouldn't make the playoffs. I don't care if you won a division or not. Like there has to just be the best 6 teams or something. I don't know, because this is going to be the third or fourth time that a sub 500 team, a team that Dallas is going to win 13 or 14 games again for the second year in a row. And if they don't somehow unseat, Seattle, they have to go on the road and play an 8-win team or a 9-win team. That's insane.
Now I might have to disagree on that part with you about the NFL needs to change it, because it doesn't happen very often. 3 or 4 times over a
Doesn't
span of what?
matter if Aaron Rodgers had to go in and go to Tom Brady and go to his thing instead of playing in Lambeau, you're going to be like, that's ridiculous. I don't want to do that. Like that's not. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't lose home field and
But
have to
when
go
you
to 80,000 screaming Tampa Bay fans because they play in a division that's absolute garbage.
if you turn into if you turn it into the 6 best teams, then we are just talking about the NCAA committee and how
It's not the
what are the
committee though,
guy
because there's no vote.
what
We're
are the
not voting.
guidelines between who's better?
The 6 best teams, barring tiebreakers. I'm not voting. I don't have a committee meeting in the Gaylord down in Fort Worth voting on who's making the NFL playoffs, but I'm going to take the best 6 teams or 8 teams or whatever that are in the conference. It's the same thing as the wild card. It's just if you win your division, it's not you don't get rewarded for winning a terrible division. The NFC East has been horrible for years, and everybody's like, that division is terrible. That division is terrible. Now it's good again, and we're getting punished.
It's just the way it breaks. I'm fine with the system. I'm fine with the way it works.
Yeah,
This
you're
doesn't
fine with
happen.
the system when it's not your team.
This doesn't happen very often. So I don't see a reason to change the whole NFL because of it.
You've been in a division that all Aaron Rodgers had to do is show up for the last 5 years. You had 3 teams in there that were hot garbage. 2 teams that had 0 wins.
The NFC East has been crap all the time too.
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
But y'all didn't dominate it like
we never had a team that was under 500 win the division. Now, one time has the NFC East been under 500 and won the division. Seattle was the last team that I remember.
One time in what, like 18 years, no one's won it back to back. Like what? That's
insane.
I
mean, that's just competition, though.
I am fine with the way the NFL runs right now as far as that goes. No problem with
it. Not if I have a 6-10 team win a division, because that might be what's
Then change up the divisions. Maybe reroute the divisions.
That's fine too. Because that one and the one that Green Bay's in have been a 1-team division for the last.
What's interesting, if you did do a relocation of the divisions, the NFC North is one of the only ones that would stay the same because locally,
no, you're geographically correct. Yeah.
So, but going back to what Craig was talking about a little bit, for y'all that don't know, there was reports that the 49ers did place a claim out on Baker Mayfield, and McCaffrey said, if you pick up Baker Mayfield, I will not play on the field. So they rescinded that claim because everyone thought, hey, it makes sense. You're down a quarterback. So he goes to the Rams instead. So, and that is very interesting because after one game, like you said, less than 48 hours, people are like, I'll run through a wall for this son of a gun. And what it reminded me last night when I didn't watch the game, but I did watch the highlights. And what reminded me of Baker Mayfield last night was, you're exactly right. He played carefree. He had no worries. And it kind of reminded me of a little bit of Brett Favre when I watched Brett Favre back in the day. He didn't care. I'm going to go out here. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to sling the ball when my team needs me. I'm going to make those dicey throws. He made some dicey throws to win that game.
I might throw 4 picks, but by God, when the game's on the line, I will throw that one and I'll get it done.
And it worked out for him last night. So, and kudos to Baker coming in off of 48 hours.
Romo was the same way. We watched Romo for years do the same thing.
Just insane to go in there and win a game like that.
Yeah, there's no way he knows the nomenclature of that offense.
No way.
He's in there in the huddle going in 40 seconds. He's like, you go that way. You go. He's basically drawing it up in the dirt. You go this way. You go that way. You go run this play, and they're making it work. And McVay's in the headset telling him, all right, watch this guy, watch that guy. I don't know why other teams have not picked up on that.
Me neither.
He's done it for years. McVay has talked to everybody in that headset. He did it to Goff. He uses the entire time until whatever seconds on the play clock it cuts off. But he's talking, look at this guy, look at that guy, move this guy, move that guy, move this guy. And he's moving the offense and setting people where they need to get and setting quarterbacks up for success.
I don't know why
other teams don't utilize that.
You're exactly right. All right, guys, we're going to move into the picks. Those are your top games of the NFL Week 14 headed up. We got your picks of the week here for us. Let me pull up the schedule here. We both went with the Raiders Thursday night.
Yeah.
So we started that off with a loss.
Thanks, Baker. We appreciate that. Good looking out, man.
Jackwagon.
Yeah. I bet on you in Carolina 7 times, and you were like, no, nothing. I don't bet on you one time, and you're like, thanks a lot.
All right, got the Bills and Jets. We just talked about this game. I got the Bills winning this one. I still think they're at home. I still think
I can't pick Mike White over Josh Allen. Can't
Yeah,
do it.
Mike White has not been consistent enough for me. The defense is going to be good. I think this will be a defensive game.
It
I
could
think,
be.
but give me the Bills. You get the Bills as well.
Yeah. I think the Jets won the first matchup, but
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, but I still can't do
Uh,
it.
I don't know if they won the first matchup.
I believe that's one of Buffalo's losses, but I could be
Could
wrong.
be. Bengals and Browns. Give me the Bengals. This is kind of an easy one. That you got Deshaun Watson looking complete garbage last week.
Deshaun out there like he's running a little league practice throwing ground balls to his receivers.
You see,
I called that from the deal that that's just like ring rust is a real thing in the UFC. QB rust of sitting for almost 2 seasons is a real thing too. You can't just not play NFL quarterback and then just walk into a deal and be like, got it.
he
It doesn't happen.
he threw an interception in the end zone,
Yeah, no, it was
and
a
then
terrible throw.
he
Like
laid down.
they're like he didn't see that guy. I'm like, I don't. I saw that guy, and I was in my living room, so I don't know how he didn't see him.
He threw double coverage.
Yeah,
The ball was way behind the wide
yeah. I
receiver.
mean, nowhere. The receiver was over to the other side of
Yeah,
the end zone.
he threw it to the right, and you're like,
Yeah,
"What was that?"
just coming out of his break.
Well, it's funny because he laid down on his stomach, and they're like, "Look, Deshaun throws an interception. He's getting ready for a massage."
Yeah.
So funny. All right,
Uh,
Cowboys and Texans. This one, I'm not even going to ask you. I already know the answer to that.
yeah.
You're going to kill them again. Lions
17
and
and a half point favorites.
yeah, Lions and Vikings. I got the Lions. I think they're going to continue that hot streak. They're at home. I think they're going to come out and punch the Minnesota Vikings in the face, and I think they're going to get that win.
Yeah, give me Detroit. They're at home and they see playoffs on the line and yeah.
Eagles traveling to New York Giants to play. Give me the Eagles. They looked really good last week after
Oh God!
dominating the
While I really
Titans.
need and want everything in my soul for Danny Dimes to throw one game, the report today is Saquon. There's a real likelihood Saquon's not going to play
Yeah, without
because
him, Danny
his
Dimes is
little
a
neck hurts. So give me Philadelphia.
You've got the backup quarterback Ravens going into Pittsburgh to play. Give me the Steelers in that
Oh,
game. It's gonna be close, but give me the Steelers to win
give
that
me
one. The defense is
Baltimore.
playing
I
good.
can't.
Oh, Baltimore.
Yeah,
The
J.K.
Huntley.
Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins is supposed to come back, I think.
All right, we got Tennessee Titans and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Give me the Titans. I don't think that's really gonna be a
Titans
good
and
game.
Jags.
Oh, the next one's even better.
Yeah, give me the Titans.
You got the Chiefs and Broncos, buddy.
Well, that's not a
Yeah.
okay.
Panthers go to Seattle to play. These two teams play each other pretty close usually, I think, when they play each other. But give me Seattle and Geno Smith.
Yeah, Geno's showed all year that he's better. Carolina's in shambles right now. They're using Darnold as a quarterback and
A team
well,
that wanted Sam Darnold over Baker Mayfield. Insane.
that's what I can't understand, is that locker room is completely turned on him and then he goes to a new locker room and they're over there chest bumping and thinking to putting him on his shoulders, carrying him off the field like he just won the Super Bowl. So I don't understand.
All right, we got Niners Bucks. I got the Niners. I don't think the Bucks are for real. Defense, I still think they win with a backup quarterback.
Boy, Mr. Irrelevant. That's tough though. Yeah, but Tampa looked horrible up until the last 2 minutes. They were down 16-3 to the Saints who have no offense.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me the Niners.
Dolphins at the Chargers. We just talked about that one. I'm going with Miami to get back on track here and beat the Cardinals, or not the Cardinals, the Chargers.
Same here.
And then Monday Night Football, you got the Patriots traveling to Arizona to play the Cardinals. You've got I'm going with the Cardinals here. I don't feel comfortable with it, but give me the Cardinals to bounce back, get this win
Wow.
at home.
Uh I got to go with the Patriots.
Okay, we only have 2 games this week. We changed it up, so it's really
Yeah.
going to alter on that. I do feel good with Steelers. I don't feel good with the Cardinals. So, all right, guys, we got your college football bowl games. They have been set. We're going to go through those here real quick with you. Um, obviously, we have both our teams versus each other there, Craig. Michigan versus TCU. It is the Fiesta Bowl. We played December 31st. It's number 2 versus number 3. I'm just hoping for a good game. I think Michigan blows us out of the water. I don't think we faced a team like this before, a team that's this good. Now, the the good and bad thing is I hate that these games are so far out. I hate it. The good thing
Yeah.
is it gives us a lot of time to prepare for you guys. I just think TCU's had a good run, had a fantastic run. No one expected them to be here. I just don't think we come close to beating Michigan in that game, but I hope we do. I hope we do.
While I'm a little biased, I believe you're right. I don't believe they've played anybody to that caliber. The Big 12 just wasn't as strong this year as it's been in the past. Oklahoma has its troubles. Texas had its troubles. Um, Oklahoma State had its troubles. You lose to a K State team that you beat early in the year by 10. And where I was watching that game was their quarterback ran all over you guys. Their running back ran all over you guys. And Michigan, their MO is we are going to punch you in the face and we're going to run the football. That's why they're a second half team, is because they lean on you with that offensive line and they will wear you down. And by the second half, your guys are so gassed from being on the field, and because Michigan's defense is number 2 in the nation. So you have quick possessions on offense and your defense is back on the field and they wear you down, and by the third quarter you guys are so worn down that your guys are getting gassed, and if you have Donovan Edwards a hole 65 yards down later, he's like, "Oh, where did he go?"
Yeah.
And JJ McCarthy, of course, he looked better in the Ohio State game because Ohio State put 8, 9 guys in the box trying to stop what they knew was coming, and they left their cornerbacks on an island, and the receivers just twisted them up and got open, and anybody could have made those throws. I mean, guys were running down the field wide open. I mean, the one pass was nothing more than about a 14-yard little button hook. He
Yep.
catches the ball, the quarterback dives and misses him, and he turns around and looks and goes, "Oh my God, there's nobody there," and runs down the sideline for
Yep.
64 yards. You know, um, the other one's a post pattern where he breaks his ankles and guy gets all twisted up and he's running down the field. I'm over here, and hits him in stride. So they had 5 plays that were 70 yards or more. That's just not going to happen in a game like that very often. So you hope it's closer, but I think Michigan wins.
Yeah, and to be fair, I mean, if I'm looking at it,
It would be
at
a
our,
huge it would be a huge disappointment to have the season they had and come in to lose to TCU. It would be
yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
that might get Harbaugh that might get Harbaugh fired to be 13-0 and then go into to a TCU game and lose that, and especially if they lost it by 14 or 21 or something like that. Um,
well,
I honestly think both bowl games are going to be blowouts.
and looking at TCU's the way they've played this year, and they have started off very slow in a lot of games. We're down at half, and then fought their way back to win. And you cannot do that against Michigan. You're not going to get the ball back and to catch up.
Yeah.
So, then you
No,
got
yeah, they
Georgia.
limit your possessions very much so.
You got Georgia number 1, Ohio State number 4. I think Georgia runs it,
Yeah. No,
just
I
runs
just
them
I
out of
just
the
yeah. I just
game.
don't
It's
even
not
think they're yeah. I don't think they're deal. I honestly thought it would have been better, even though I didn't think they deserved it as 2 lost Bama. I thought it would have been a better game
better game.
to
Yeah.
put Georgia and Bama in there together. But I get it. They didn't want to see that game. They've already seen it once this year, and so um, we'll see.
Some other bowl games here. You got Texas for versus Washington, Valera Alamo Bowl. You have Oklahoma versus Florida State. Might be a pretty good one. We'll see. You got Notre Dame versus South Carolina, Tennessee versus Clemson. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah,
Uh,
they say that, but you got to remember Tennessee's quarterback blew his
yeah,
ACL, and they're playing with a backup. So I
they
really
they
and
would.
Clemson had a bad loss at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think Tennessee without that injury, I think they're in the playoff, and
It would have been a lot closer. It would have
yeah,
been a lot closer.
you feel bad for that when that
You do.
happens, but you got Alabama in the Sugar Bowl versus Kansas State. I think they dominate that one. They're not gonna Kansas State's not gonna be able to run the ball all over Alabama like they did TCU.
Yeah.
So I think Alabama wins that one, and then you got USC versus Tulane in the Goodyear Bowl, and the Rose Bowl is Utah versus Penn State. So that one should be pretty good too as well. So those are some ball games. There's a lot more ball games on there, but not all that important, honestly. Some of these ball games, I'm like, they just made this one up. I don't.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's gotten so crazy. Pollen Weed Eater Bowl, the Home Depot
Yeah,
Bowl,
the
uh,
Cotton
it,
Nail Wipe Your
yeah,
Butt Bowl.
just yeah.
It's just
I mean, it's. I get it. These schools get a lot of money, and they, it helps these kids and everything like that, and gives them another opportunity to let scouts come watch them, and yeah, it's fine. But when you got teams that are 6-7, that are going to bowl games, that shouldn't be a thing. Just like it shouldn't be, a thing in the NFL to make the playoff. When you can't win games and you can't go over 500, you can't be, because I mean, could you imagine next year when you got to 12? Uh, you're gonna have a team that's got 3 and 4 losses that are gonna be in, and that just, to me, that's
well, the college football they did it wrong. They went from 4 to 12. Why do we not
yeah,
go from 4 to 6 or 4 to 8
4-8,
and see
yeah, yeah.
4 to 12? It
And
was
I
like okay,
understand, and
where's
and
the in
it'll
between
never
that
be
and that?
enough. It'll never be enough, because just like in the basketball, when there's 65 teams, the team that's 66 thinks they got screwed.
Yeah,
So the team that's 13 next year will argue that they should have been in. You're never going to get a clean cut. That's the right way. There's teams in the NCAA that have to go play in the uh, NIT tournament that they think that they should have been in, and I should have been the 65th team, and I could have won it all. Well, no, the 65th team has never won it all.
yeah.
Only once in the last 30 years has the 16 seed, which is what 65 is, you know, um, has even won the first round game, let alone won the tournament. So stop arguing that you should have been in because you could have done damage. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's just like the number 12 team will not win the college football playoff. They're just not going to.
All right, guys, we've got your headlines right after this, guys. All right, guys, welcome back. We have Aaron Judge, who Craig thought was a New York Giant for 10 minutes. Goes
Yep.
back to New York, signs a 9-year, $360 million deal. Now, you want to break down what happened with that, Craig, and why he, kind of thought he was going to
Basically, um, New York offered him 300 million before the winter meeting started. They offered him 7 or 8 years for 300. And as soon as that deal came out, I said that's not even anywhere close to going to be enough. And so they flew into the winter meetings, and the Giants said the reported deal was they were at 360 plus million, right around 360, 370. There was a debate on whether it was 9 or 10 years. And um, so basically, he went back and told the Yankees, I got 360 on the table, and for 9. And he said, I want to play here. But he also went and did an interview that said he was very unhappy, just like a few years ago when they were doing the Jeter contract. Jeter had the same problem where Brian Cashman went to the media and was giving out the numbers of well, we're trying to do the best we can. We're giving Aaron this. We're giving Aaron this. We're giving Aaron this, and telling him all the numbers, and basically making it the fans and everything seem like the Yankees are acting in good faith, and it was Aaron who was not wanting to cooperate, not wanting to be there, and supposedly that upset Judge pretty badly. And so when I see that report, and then I see the MLB writer who does this for a living, John Heyman. Heyman's going, this is looking good. He is upset at the Yankees. He's talking to San Francisco right now, and then Heyman comes out and first he puts on the internet. Arson Judge has signed a deal with the San Francisco Giants. Well, of course, everybody was like, "What Arson?" And he's like, "Oh my God, my bad, typo." He goes, Aaron Judge has signed with the San Francisco Giants. And the internet explodes. I mean, here's the guy who's the number one free agent. There was rumors that it was 50-50 between the Giants and the Yankees. And here he picked San Francisco, and I mean, it was chaos for 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden, he comes back and goes, "Oh, I got it wrong. He hasn't really spoken with San Francisco. It's just not confirmed yet." So then you think, okay, well, it's just not confirmed, but the rest of the night goes by and he didn't sign with the Yankees or anybody else. So you thought, okay, they're still in discussions. It's fine. The next morning, he immediately signs with the Yankees and leaves the Giants at the altar. And as a Giants fan, I cannot be upset because they gave him the contract. Their contract was the exact number that he signed for New York. So he just picked to stay. They made New York pay more than they wanted to pay for him. New York was not comfortable going that long. They did not want to pull that deal. They wanted 8 years. They wanted about 300. They wanted to save 30 or 40 million, and they forced New York's hand, and New York did it. And so I can't be upset that he wants to stay there. He's one of the best baseball players in the deal. I don't have any hard feelings that he went back to New York. I mean, that's where you've played your whole career. I get that you want to stay there. I get, deal, but it would have been nice to have. So now they turn their focus in San Francisco to maybe Carlos Correa, which I'm not a fan of that just because I'm a huge Brandon Crawford fan. He has been there for the better part of a decade. He's all that's left of the World Series teams. The guy's won multiple Gold Gloves. He's been a class act. He gave the Giants a hometown discount the last 2-year deal that he signed. Could have went and gotten probably a whole lot more on the open market and didn't. And to ask him to go to a different position to me is just something you can't do. I like
Plus, you don't like
Correa.
cheaters.
Yeah, I mean, and I get it. I mean, I get that we moved him, we moved Michael Young, we moved the face of the franchise over, and we did all that. But and if Brandon wants to do that, if he goes to the Giants and says, "Listen, I heard you're wanting to sign Correa, and I'm willing to go play third, or I'm willing to go play second," then fine, I get that. But for the organization to go do it, and the organization to say, "Hey, you're moving," and I know from when you were 9 years old and growing up that you've played no other position other than shortstop, but we need you to move. He has an arm like an absolute cannon, so to put him at second base would be a waste. I think third would be the only other option, unless he wanted to go play an outfield position. I mean, he's athletic enough to do whatever he wants to. But this guy, if you've seen some of the plays he's made, they're jaw dropping. He makes plays that nobody else makes, throws nobody else makes. I think there's 1 year that he's been in the league that he hasn't won the Gold Glove, and so yes, offensively last year he did not have the season that he had the year before. Correa would run circles around him offensively, but I think defensively he's better than Carlos Correa. That's just an opinion. So I mean, the Yankees are trying to look at Correa. We'll see what happens.
So the reports have come out for the investigation done in looking into the Commanders, and they say that Snyder has allowed the toxic culture and did nothing to stop it. That he basically started this culture there, um, which we all figured that this guy's just a scumbag. And side note to all of this, which to me was more interesting, was Snyder's the one who leaked the John Gruden emails. Um, and it makes me think it was I'm going to leak these emails to save my own butt type of move, which didn't work out because Snyder will have to sell the team at the end of the season. So hopefully, and this doesn't bode well for Cowboy fans because you want a crappy owner in there. And hopefully, though, this organization gets an owner that comes in and changes this toxic workplace and turns this around. And I really feel bad for first of all the people that have been through what they have been through working for this organization, all the women that have been harassed, and I feel bad for the head coach who signed on there, who I think is a pretty good head coach, but you're just not going to win when the organization is ran like this. And hopefully someone comes in, turns this thing around for them. But Dan Snyder is what we all thought, and that's a big piece of crap.
Yeah, and the sad part about it is Gruden's brother worked for him.
Yeah.
He had his brother as a head coach, and that went south. And I mean, if you're John Gruden, you're loving this because back up the Brinks truck because you're probably going to get the rest of that $100 million contract. The NFL is just going to go over there and just pay you quietly to go away. And eventually, I think you see that lawsuit that he has against the NFL dropped because they're just going to pay him, and they're going to go, "Why'd you drop the lawsuit?" And he's going to go, "I don't know. I just didn't feel like it was needed. I didn't,
Yeah.
as his bank account numbers go skyrocketing because
he's
they're
going to
going
win
to
that
just,
lawsuit.
yeah, 100%, he's going to win that lawsuit, and we knew that when that was the rumor when it first came out was they think Snyder did it to take the heat off him, and the Congress proved it, and by going in and dodging the subpoena, he didn't help himself. He dodged the subpoena. He lied to the government. He covered things up. He made the investigation more difficult than it needed to
They
be. I
said
mean, it was
he
just
refused to answer simple questions.
yes,
The
simple.
simplest questions.
What's your name? I don't know. So I don't. It's very, very mind blowing to me, and some of the stuff that women walking up glass staircases with groups of guys standing underneath it, and the Sean Taylor thing that he's just gotten so
Oh
wrong,
my gosh.
and
They haven't fixed yet. How have they
yeah,
not fixed
no,
that?
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And then to have a guy that was your head coach, and you go and ruin another guy's career who was trying to come back and deal. I mean, it just to me you can't. And then they've taken more money. They did report the amount of ticket sales. They've basically screwed other owners. It's a pot. They put all this money from your ticket sales into the pot, so they've screwed all these other owners out of money by Snyder's keeping it. I mean, the guy is just corrupt from the word go. I mean, just absolutely.
And look, I don't care so much that he called out John Gruden for those emails. It's just it wasn't for the right reasons. He didn't do it because
No, yeah, I mean, I
they need
don't
to
disagree
know
that the emails were
what.
wrong. I mean, but if you're not, I mean, from what the reports were Snyder had similar emails that
Oh,
just went away.
deleted. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you can't get one guy fired and then cover your own deal. I mean, what Gruden did. Gruden admitted it. He's like, look, yeah, I screwed up.
Yeah. Big time.
And I should have never said any of that. I should have never done any of that. That's for me to live with. But how it came out and the way they went about it and the basically turned it into a witch hunt and protected themselves, you can't do that.
You're definitely right there. But yeah, Dan Snyder will sell the team and they'll get someone in there hopefully that turns this thing around. And this team, they are talented. I think they've got a talented defense. They've got some playmakers on offense. They need a quarterback. I don't know if Heineke's it, but
oh, he's played pretty well, but I don't know if he's the permanent answer.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. The permanent answer, and it's so crazy how like you look at this team and you go, man, a couple years ago they had RG3. We thought he
Yeah,
was
you
the
thought
next
he was
thing, and
gonna win a lot of divisions and win a lot of football games, and now he's on the sideline making Twitter jokes.
yeah.
So
Um, I was gonna bring up Brittany Griner, but I'm not gonna. We've already talked about that a long time ago. I'm not gonna get all political on this, so
Yeah.
we'll leave it at that. Craig, it is about that time that we haven't talked about in a long, long time here. What is in your locker this week, other than the crappy work week we both had?
Got one more day of work. That's not a big deal. Should be pretty simple.
Should be.
And then well, at least I'll have a truck. Uh,
Yeah.
I've got a birthday party tonight for my niece. We're gonna go over and have a little nacho bar and celebrate with her. Obviously, won't make it too late because of work in the morning. Tomorrow afternoon, really nothing, and Sunday will be football and maybe eventually get the Christmas lights up that I've been trying to put up for about 3 weeks now. Maybe a little
You might
late.
miss out.
No, I know. I know. I missed out last year because of the work schedule. I normally do it after Thanksgiving, and with my son being in Hawaii and the weather, it's rained several weekends and everything like that. Um, so I didn't have the chance to do it. I might not put the lights up. I might just put the inflatable guys up and let them cruise around the front yard a little bit. But
Supposed to
either
rain
way,
tomorrow too.
yeah. See, I mean, it's like we're in Oregon. It's yeah. It we'll see. We're gonna do what we can. Um, don't really have a lot going though. Just gonna get some rest and try to catch up from the lack of sleep and everything like that. Of course, college football is not on, so you won't have that. Oh, there's family pictures at 1 o'clock on Sunday. So that's fun, right in the middle of football.
Football.
Yeah, good job.
Well, I got work, as you know. I don't know how late I'm gonna be at work tomorrow, but it's gonna be a long day. Hopefully, not too long. Um, Sunday will be Christmas shopping. We got to finish up our Christmas shopping, and that is pretty much about it. Well, no, actually, I gotta take that back. Tomorrow, I might be taking out Logan. I need to spend some time with him, and we might go out to Pluckers and arcade. There's an arcade over at Denton Highway that's like $10 all you can play, and we've been there before. It's pretty sweet. Take him out, hang out with him some a little bit there, and then Sunday go Christmas shopping after church, and that's pretty much about it. Hope praying to the good Lord above. I have a truck next week.
Yeah.
And I'm not even running that route Monday. They were like, "Oh no, you got to run Juan's route, and Jeff's going to be on that route on Monday." I'm like, well, that sucks for him because there's going to be stuff on the ground. But and then I go back on Tuesday and run the route, so it's gonna be an interesting week.
All right.
But all right, guys. Well, thanks for jumping on, listening to us. Thanks for listening to us on the podcast. If you're not watching us live, we do stream live to YouTube and Facebook, and we are on all podcast platforms. If I could talk, we're on pretty much every social media account there is too, as well. So come find us, share the show with your friends. Come on and comment and tell us if you agree or don't agree with us. Whatever you want. And remember, God bless, and remember.
Keep it outspoken.